Hello everyone, this is Coach Sean, and we have finished reviewing the hitting video from early December, and we're now just putting together your hitting lessons. There's some things that are common amongst a lot of our hitters that the videotape is showing us, and I just wanted to start by reviewing some of these things so that everybody can become familiar with them, what they are, how they affect your swing, what you can do to correct it, practice drills, etc. What I'd like everyone to do after you read these things is stop your video, go online, go to our website, saintsbaseball.club. Once you're at the website, saintsbaseball.club, I would like you to go to the features page, and I'd like you to watch the following videos. The first one I would like you to watch is Fix Your Flat Swing, Master the Snap Drill. I believe this drill is essential in any hitter's swing. If you do not move your hands, turn the triangle, snap the bat rearward, and pull your hands through a swing, you're not going to have your best swing. You're not going to be able to attack the balls on the corners and things of that nature. A flat swing is going to have trouble hitting outside and inside pitches. What we are trying to build with our hitters is a complete hitter, somebody with no holes in their swing that can attack all the balls in the zone and drive the ball from gap to gap at your 18 to 22 degree upward plane, thusly making each hitter the best they can be. So again, if you do not snap your bat correctly, this drill is perfect for slowing it down, duplicating it, mimicking the process, and is something that everybody should be able to do or know about so that they can work on getting there in the future. So again, I'd like you to start by watching those two videos. I think 3 videos associated to that part of the drill. The second thing I'd like you to watch is casting your hands in the swing. It's the second video on the page. Casting your hands is something that most of our hitters are doing. A large number of them anyway are doing. And casting the bat, simply put, will flatten your swing. Okay, it's the incorrect use of your hands in the swing that flattens your plane of your bat, which is going to make you, again, have difficulty hitting inside and outside pitches. It's going to give you holes in your swing, and this is a great video series so that you can understand what it is, how you're doing it, and again, ways to fix it. So that's very important. Thirdly, loose hands drill. It's lower down on the page, and I have a feeling from watching these videos that not everybody's holding their bats correctly. The bat should be held very loosely, and every one of our players should investigate using a grip aid, whether it's pine tar or the tacky waxy substances, something of that nature. But if you look at a major league on deck circle, there's probably 4 or 5 grip aids that the batters are using every at bat before they go to bat in most cases. And on the Saints team, we've got literally 1 or 2 people using pine tar, and not on a regular basis. So again, I would like all the players to understand how to grip a bat, the best way to grip a bat, why they're gripping it that way, and how it contrasts with what they're doing. And I'd like them to try to mimic and copy the folks in these hand drills so that they can, again, feel the difference in the swing with loose hands. So we've got that video. We've got the Justin Turner's loose hands bat grip, which all that does is show his loose grip preload. Again, very important for the kids to get that, let it sink in, and see if they can change their grip to get their hands and wrists looser in the swing. So go ahead and go watch those and then come on back to your lesson. Okay, now that you've done that, let's talk a little bit about what we're trying to achieve here. In general, a hitter that is approaching 15 years old, or by the time he reaches 16, he should be very proficient at covering the zone, meaning having a swing that will produce a line drive anywhere from gap to gap at anywhere from 16 to 22 degree upward trajectory. A player should be able to hit a pitch in that direction that is anywhere in the zone. That is a batting practice or soft toss pitch or off a tee. Okay, yes, it's a different thing when you put a live pitcher in there throwing top speed for your age group, but by age 15, 16 at the latest, you should be very well accomplished with the quick short swing that covers the whole zone, that puts the ball into the right place. So what we're trying to do is build that with each player, and what we're seeing from just a few flaws, not a lot of stuff needs to be cleaned up with a lot of our hitters, but this snap drill and how you initiate the swing and casting the hands are the two biggest things we need to fix so that our kids can get on the trajectory of being able to hit a ball in the strike zone where they need and want to hit it. So our goal is trying to get you all in that direction. So that's what we're working on here. That's what we're trying to accomplish. So the first thing I want to show you here is this hitter performing the snap drill. And let's just roll it so you can see it. Okay, let's play it live. You see how he does it nice and slow, making sure he's keeping everything in its right position with the right sequence. And this drill right here, we're going to call the snap drill. And I believe every one of our hitters on our team needs to practice this a lot on a regular basis. Even after you master it, you need to keep doing it just to make sure it stays regular and an easy feeling for you. And let's take a look at some of the breakdown on this thing here. So what you're trying to achieve is more of a horizontal or downward swing. As you can see at the point of contact, so to speak, the angle of his bat. Okay. That angle right there is what you're trying to achieve on most pitches, not an outside and high pitch, for example, but for a lot of the pitches on the plate, that's the angle you're trying to achieve, okay? So, of course, he did that and achieved that angle by starting with a good triangle with this 90 degrees. He's got a proper hand grip. Okay, look at that really close. And as you move it forward here, he's snapping the bat rearward. Snapping the bat rearward. And one important thing in being able to do that, which is also part of the snap deal teachings, is this right here. The right forearm for a right-hander, left forearm for a left-hander. This degree should always be close to 90 degrees at all times until you get into the power V, or the tail end of your swing. So as you watch that angle through the swing, you can see he's kept it more or less at contact right there. Okay? So the relationship of the forearm to the bat should always be 90 degrees. When you start the swing, the first movement here, there's his go right there. His triangle starts to turn, his bat comes rearward, his forearm and bat are at 90 degrees, and he simply maintains that posture through the swing. And you can see there he really starts to get his left elbow moving forward and around and up, and starts plunging his left shoulder rearward. Okay? So as you watch this here, see how far that left shoulder or left elbow is going to maintain his 90 degrees. Now he's essentially turned his triangle all the way, and it's facing the pitcher. Okay? If you do not, which a lot of our hitters don't, if you do not turn that elbow up and out, that elbow will stop right where it's at. Okay? If your elbow stops in here, which a lot of our players' elbows do, if you're stopping here, the only place for the arms and hands to then go, the forearms and the hands, is out and around that elbow. Okay? So these are then going to come outward. Okay? That would be his arm extended right there, so to speak. If he stops the elbow, this hand has nowhere to go but out and around the elbow. Okay? Which will make you cast your bat, which will give you a flatter swing plane and make it tough to reach inside pitches and outside pitches on a regular basis. So again, this snap drill is something everybody should grab a wiffle ball bat, standing in front of a mirror, practice this methodically, slowly, until you get it and it's comfortable. And once it's comfortable, you should continue to do it on a regular basis. Okay? So let's flip this for our left-handers. Let them take a look. Okay, this drill is real easy to practice as well. What you do is you get in the batter's box with a tee, you get your feet lined up, you take and you measure the distance from the hands to the sweet spot of your bat, and you get in this position, put the bat near the ball, you recreate this whole position right here, and then you simply back it up to your load and you slowly proceed between the 2 points until you can do it quickly and correctly. Okay, so I want everybody to work on that. I want you to do it at home. I want you to do it in the cages, at practice. I really want everybody to concentrate on gaining what it feels like to start your swing like this. Very important. Okay, here's another version of the snap drill. It should also be practiced with one hand. This is the portion of the drill where you're concentrating on a 90-degree or a perpendicular angle, 90 degrees from the bat to your left elbow or right, your forearm or your right forearm if you're right-handed. Let's watch this gentleman demonstrate the drill. So along with the other version of this, everybody should practice this on a regular basis. You should get it to feel as comfortable as possible, and some of the things to remind you of here is you can see how the elbow and everything starts to slot and everything works together simultaneously. The same thing with the two-hand snap drill, okay? So now we've got this flipped for right-handed players to see what it looks like. Okay, so again, the ability to do this and master these drills and get a good feel for handling the bat like these instructors are. Again, bat speed controls how far and hard we hit the ball. So you want to gain as much bat speed as possible, and you can see the whip from laying it down like this is how you're going to gain more bat speed, okay? That's how early bat speed is gained. The second thing it's going to do for you, it's going to get the bat on the right path, which is going to help you hit more balls where you want to hit them. So keep all that in mind as you're practicing this drill. And the third way to practice the snap drill is with a PVC pipe. Okay, and here is the third way to practice the snap drill, and this is with the PVC pipe that was provided to you by Chris, or this could be with a broomstick, something of that nature. And let's just watch this gentleman. You can see how he moves everything simultaneously. Everything's firing at once. The snapping of the hands, the slotting of the right elbow, the upward movement of the left shoulder and elbow to turn the triangle, and bam. Okay, now again, this is exaggerated. You're not going to exactly swing this way every time, but it does show, and by exaggerating, get everything moving in the right direction on the right path. So let's flip it for our left-handers. Okay, so there are the 3 ways to practice the snap drill, and I highly suggest everybody masters these drills. Get them looking just the way these instructors do in the video. Okay? So here we have Justin Turner loaded in here, and I want to take a quick look at the ending of his swing so that we have contrast for later when we get into the individual videos. But you can see he's 3/4 of the way through his swing here, and if we draw a line right here, this line indicates what a lot of our players are doing that are casting their hands. If you cast your hands, what that's going to do, it's going to stop your elbows in this area right here of the swing. It's not going to allow you to get to this position. Okay? So again, take a quick look at that and then parlay that into your swing and see what the differences are. But if you do stop your elbows and cast the bat, that's what's going to give you the rotational, flatter swing. So here is Aaron Judge, and let's look at his full swing. Again, look at the same points. As he's 3/4 of the way through his swing here, before contact. You'll see that he maintains his 90-degree relationship with his elbows and triangle. You'll see here that his elbow is way up by his shoulder. His shoulder is moving rearward. And it appears he's got a ball on a pretty good trajectory, and with his bat speed, I'm assuming that's a home run or close to it, right there. He's got a perpendicular relationship here with the bat and the flight of the ball. He pulled his hands inside nicely, and he got some nice results on this swing. So if we look at the front of the swing here, if you look at the hands, and the elbows, you will see that all that stuff moves simultaneously. You will also see his left elbow simply goes upward, like so. So let's go ahead and get into the individual lessons, and we'll discuss some of this stuff in further depth as we have you on the screen here. Okay, so here's Abrams' video lesson. I'd like to just start off letting you know at the end of your lesson you will have the raw footage of all your swings that you can also look at. And I would like you to concentrate when you're watching that to see how you performed, for example, on various pitches, outside pitches, inside pitches, high, low pitches. See what the flight path of your ball was when you made contact on the more difficult pitches, and just get a feel for what you were doing on a somewhat consistent basis, because it shows all your pitches where you can break them down and see where your flight path was. Also, if you were involved in the taping of the pitching in November, I'm going to put some of that footage in there as well so you can see yourself pitching. So when we move forward and get more film and dissect our pitching video, you can already have a jump on what you look like there. So let's go ahead and move ahead here. Okay, so Abram, after watching your video, this is my action plan for you, and this will all become clear as we roll the video here. But I believe for a player to grow within this game and improve their swing, improve their play, they have to have a path for them written out that they know where they're at all times. So they know where they're at all times. So you know what you're practicing, what you're concentrating on, what your goals are. And this will help you down the path of improving yourself as a baseball player. So for you, I'd really like you to concentrate on mastering the snap drill, all three phases of it. I'd like you to study all the loose hands material, the grip material, and practice it and tweak it and change it and use grip aids to see if you can get something that feels different and maybe feels better than what you're doing now. I would really like you to study and understand the eliminate casting your hands, and let's figure out a game plan action-wise for the steps and the things to practice so you can eliminate that. And just, you're not bad in this area, but proper spine angle at all times. That includes preload. It's once you're in the box and you're awaiting the pitch, at that point in time you should have achieved proper spine angle and carried that through the swing. So these are the items that I'd really like you to get a game plan to tackle after you've watched this video moving forward at home and in practices. So let's get into it. Okay, I don't want to just show all of the flaws in one swing. I want to start with some good stuff here. So let's roll this tape. You can see that you've hit this ball really well. It's on a great trajectory. It's probably at 20 degrees, somewhere in that range, upward plane. You can see that the pitch was on the outside portion of the plate. Right at the upper thighs, hip area. And you did a good job with it. You put it right where you'd want to put it, okay? You can see that your step and load looks really good. Your balance, everything or most things about this swing are really, really good. And that's kind of what we're seeing. A lot of our players do a lot of things really well. There's just a couple of things that need to occur to become more consistent, better average hitters, more contact, put the ball in the proper flight path, and things of that nature, okay? So here's an example of what a flat swing produces and why it's that way. As we roll the tape, you'll see that we get a pitch that is essentially on the inner half of the plate. Again, thigh high, right near the hip. And you look at the trajectory of the ball, you can see right there that this ball is driven right at the third baseman or somewhere in that range on the ground. It's most likely an out. Could be a double down the line. Hard to say. But again, all hitters want to set out at the plate driving the ball from gap to gap, anywhere from 18 to 22 degrees upward is what your goal is. And the better hitters, it's hard to say at what age they accomplish this, but through proper practice and dedication, I would say by 15 to 16-year-old, a child should be able to hit the ball gap to gap, any pitch over the plate in the strike zone, from soft toss, front toss, or BP type pitching. Once you throw a pitcher in there that throws top end for your age bracket, or 90, 95 for the pros, obviously it becomes more difficult to do. But again, these are soft toss pitches. There's nothing here of any significant speed. So with quick hands and proper time to impact, a kid that's really got his swing down should be able to hit anything where he wants it in these situations. So what happens here, you can see there the trajectory of the ball. So what has caused this, if we back the tape up from the front view or the other angle, it's a lot easier to see technically why this is happening. But let's take a look from the front angle here and see what we have. Okay, so in his left arm, it's not quite straight, but it's almost arm barred right there, okay? What you can see is that the elbows are essentially stopping here, and that's forcing the bat away from your body, and then when it comes back into your body, now it's on a flatter plane. So when you do that, you're going to get the results that this swing has gotten. Okay. If we take a look at this picture here and we erase these lines, if we roll the video to the point where you begin your swing, you're finished loading, now you begin moving your hands and start your swing. You can see the hands are back here. In this area, we can roll the tape to where the elbows start stopping more or less. And now our hands are out here. Okay, so they have moved a little bit in this direction. As we look further, we'll take a look at this triangle. And you can see here, as contrast to other players that we'll look at in a little bit, that your triangle has narrowed. It's no longer at 90 degrees. And as we saw from some of the videos in the intro, you will see that this elbow has not progressed through the swing like we like to see it. The shoulder is not driven back as far as we'd like to see it to produce the falling off the cliff sensation. And that's all going to lead to a rotational swing, flat, plane, that is either going to pop that ball up or drive it into the ground more than it's going to hit it where you want to hit it. So here we have Aaron Judge mocked up as a comparison swing, and what you'll see is right around the point of contact, Abrams' left elbow is lower than Aaron's in the swing. Okay? So at or right around contact, this is Abrams' position. And by contrast, that is Aaron's position right there, right with his chin. Okay? So that little difference in pulling the elbow through before the bat comes whipping through the zone is enough to push this swing rotational and drive that ball into the ground. Had he contacted it differently but yet swung the same, he could have gotten the ball in a better trajectory. However, it might have been foul at that point in time too. So this is just a good idea of what a pro player looks like on an inside pitch here. You can also see here at or around contact that Aaron has maintained his 90 degrees or close to it in his triangle, whereas Abrams is just a hair more collapsed. So this is the front view of casting the hands and what it'll do and what it'll cause the ball to do. Let's take a look at a couple of different players and how they attack the inside of the ball, or the ball on an inside pitch. So let's mock Sawyer up here and roll these two through their swings. We've got an inside pitch, upper thigh to both players. With two different results. So the player on the left has just driven the ball just left of center, probably a 12 to 14 degree angle, not a huge, not the 20-ish that we're looking for, but most likely landed, over the infielders, under the outfielders for a base hit. We can project. And the hit on the left is a grounder somewhere near the third baseman. Okay, so as we roll this along, you can see at contact here again, the main points in casting your hand and stopping the elbow is the position of the elbows contact. Okay. Sawyer's is up around his head, and Abrams is down around his sternum. Okay? So another way to look at this, and the way the hands and everything work in a swing, we draw a kite tail or a line to the hands that follow the hands throughout the whole swing. So let's take a look at that. And what we'll see here, if your hands start here and they end up here, you've got this much distance in flat rotational movement of the hands, which parlays into the movement of the bat. So that's, in this instance, what creates the flat swing that drives the ball into the ground. If we take a look at the player on the right's hand path, you'll see there's a much straighter line in that portion of the kite tail. Okay? So another tiny effect, but something that's important stance-wise for all players to get into, is pay attention to your spine angle. Okay? You can see at this portion of your stance and swing that your spine angle is quite vertical. Okay? As you proceed forward, you get in a little bit better position there. There we can see the difference. And that's not bad. I think we should maybe work on having your shoulders out in front of your feet just a hair more. But the important notes on this topic here is, instead of your ready position here being so vertical, we should make your ready position into this second line here. That way there's less movement and less things for your body to do as you're getting ready to attack a pitch. So again, as we look at the spine angle here, we should try to tinker with maybe something just a little, not a lot, but just a little bit different. What this does for you and why it's so important to find the right spine angle there is, if you're straight up, if you're more vertical with your upper body, that's going to force, right then and there, that's going to force, as you rotate, to rotate flatter, okay? But by leaning over and having the correct spine angle, it's going to give you room for your hands, arms, and elbows to come through this swing more directly towards the ball without flat rotation and without casting the hands. So if you're not bent over far enough in your swing, you're already going to be rotational, is what that means. So that's why I put spine angle on your action list. I'd like to look at this in further depth in the cages and see what's comfortable for you and what kind of changes we can make there, and move on from there and get back into these other things. So, okay, so here's Abrams synced up with Mike Trout, so we can take a look at some of the differences between your two swings. Again, we've got a pitch that is just below the waist on the inside portion of the plate. And let's take a look here. Okay. What we can see here with Mike's swing at contact, he has really well maintained his 90-degree triangle. His bat is on the Ferris wheel, not the merry-go-round. You can see his left elbow is up by his chin. And as we roll it, you can see he really, and most power hitters do, really get into that sensation of falling off the cliff, pushing yourself so far and hard backwards with this shoulder that it looks like you're falling off a cliff. Okay? So I'll roll those a little bit more so you can watch them on your own. And you can see the trajectory of the pitch he just hit. This is obviously a bomb. It's fair, and it's the same pitch location. So, okay, here is a shot of Abrams side by side with Vladimir Guerrero. The one difference to point out here is this pitch is a little bit lower. It's inside still, but it's more at the level of the knees. And let's roll it and take a look here. You can see the trajectory of his hitted ball. Looks like it's going out of the park. You can see his left elbow is a little bit lower than the ones in the previous scenes with Aaron Judge and some of the other hitters, but that's because the ball is a lower ball. But what you can see also is he's still turning the triangle. Still got a pretty good, hard to see there, it's so small, but it's still got a really good relationship with his 90 right there, and then he comes out of it and goes into his power V. So you can see how He does a really good job snapping the bat, getting the bat on the right plane, a downward, more vertical plane. Boom. So the pitch being low pulls some of his sequences of arm movement into a different position. But that, again, that's because the ball's a little bit lower. But you can see he wouldn't have been able to get to this position if he was casting his hands or losing his triangle a little bit earlier. Okay. So here's a side view of Abram, and this will give us a real good opportunity to look at casting and the snap drill stuff a little bit closer here to get a better understanding of it. But let's just look at your swing here. The ball's hit right where you want it. Good results from that swing. And again, remember we've mentioned that people that cast their hands in their swing and have a flatter swing, the middle pitch is going to be your pitch. So you better not miss it if you're going to cast your hands. The reason the inside and outside pitches are so tough is because you have to adjust with your body where your bat goes if you're going to be rotational. You've got to cast earlier or cast later. Okay? So let's get into this here and show, let's jump right to the casting and what it looks like from the side. Okay? Right there. So what you'll see right here is your relatively flat, the elbows at this point in time, okay? You've still got some of your 90 degrees, but it has flattened quite a bit, shrunk and got smaller. Your elbows are essentially stopping right here. Which is going to force your bat outward versus through your swing, okay? It's going to cast your bat this way, it's going to get it rotational, it's going to be on a flatter plane. Okay? So this essentially is your power V. You can see your arms are roughly in the same position and not your right arm down, your left arm up, pointing at the pitcher, like so, but they're closer together, okay? And the power V is pointing upwards. So again, when we cast, that's what it looks like. You've got a flat front side at this portion of your swing. Okay. So let's bring our buddy Aaron Judge back in here and slow roll his swing. A couple of things to point out again is you can watch the left rear shoulder and how far it gets back there and creates that falling off the cliff sensation. But let's take and look at him roughly in the same position as Abram here. So what we can see from this position, again, as we showed earlier, the position of his left elbow and his shoulder, and Abrams' left elbow and left shoulder. By this time in the swing, Aaron's shoulder is disappearing behind his head. We can still see Abrams' left shoulder. We can see how low Abrams' left shoulder or left elbow is, and we can see how high Aaron Judge's left elbow is, okay? We can also see, if we draw Aaron's triangle, that he still has his 90 degrees or close to it, okay? So again, the importance of fixing and not casting the hands is rather paramount in all of our players' swings. But just to review here, it's going to make your bat rotational because it's going to throw your bat out away from your body. Okay? So here I have Abram mocked up on an outside pitch, and I want to show how the casting of the hands becomes even more exaggerated for an outside pitch, because somehow you've got to get your bat out there. If you're not going to take a straight path to the bat, you're going to have to cast even more and even earlier in the swing. So let's take a look at this swing. Let's slow it down. And right there, you're already casting and losing your triangle. Right there, you can see how the bat's pushing outward to go get the outside pitch. And you become flat right here instead of up here where you did on an inside pitch or a middle pitch, okay? So you're casting your bat, you're going rotational. When you contact that pitch, there is a high degree of probability that you've just popped that pitch up to a middle infielder, somebody somewhere in that range. And again, that's the plight. That's what happens to all rotational swingers that cast their hands, is the outside pitch becomes difficult, and you're often popping that up, a weak pop fly to first base, second base, somewhere in that range, and you drive the inside pitches into the ground, okay? So this illustrates exactly what's happening due to the casting of the hands in your swing. So in this view, we have Sawyer and Abram mocked up. I've got a kite tail attached to the end of your bat. So as you swing, the kite tail will show a line of where the end of your bat is going. So you can see the plane of your bat. So let's roll this. And so the tail end of your swing, the last part of your swing, you can see the kite tail's telling us that you're rather flat here, which obviously is because of the rotational part of the swing. Again, you push the hands away from your body, they have to come back into your body. And that's going to create the flatness right there. As we take a look at Sawyer's and move over to this part of the swing, you'll see he's got a little bit more curve in this portion of his swing right there. Okay. So in review of your lesson here, I'd just like to take a look at a couple more things. Again, your stance looks really good. Your left leg kick is good. It's not too much. You do begin, I must say right there you can see, if you look at your triangle, you do move it rather well initially, okay? But as is the case with many people that cast their hands, you now kick out of the triangle because your hands are coming this way, okay? So again, mastering that snap drill, getting the bat moving downward and moving your elbows correctly, I think is going to clean up your swing rather nicely. You're going to have better plate coverage. You're going to reach more pitch, put more pitches from gap to gap, driving the ball on the proper plane, proper trajectory, and you're going to become a more complete hitter without holes in your swing. So again, as you can see, these adjustments may or may not be easy, but there's not a lot of things you need to do to become a better hitter immediately. And I think you can achieve these things rather quickly if you concentrate on them and understand them and have somebody help you out. So a lot of these things are improved upon just sitting in the cage, tweaking your hands with an instructor, move this, try that, do this. I'm more than happy to help you guys out. If you guys want to take your swings, and I suggest you do, take your videos to other hitting instructors, other people within baseball that you trust. You know, get as many opinions as you can on this stuff. Learn as much about it as you can. Learn what other people know and think about it. And then come back to the cage with a game plan and start working on this stuff. So that wraps up your individual lesson. For you, Abram, I'm going to attach your swings and some of your pitching video so that you can see it, but I want you to look when you're watching your video at where you're hitting the ball and how often you're hitting it, where you're hitting it, so versus the pitch of the location. So this, my friend, will conclude